It is Saturday again, and this is the Saturday Night Mouse Party. I am DM Foss, and so far we've got Gizzard Gary. How's it going, Gary?
It's going well. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Hanging in there. And let me get the banner going. Let me get the right banner going.
It's all right. I realized my mic was clear on the opposite corner of my desk. No wonder I was having to yell.
Yeah. So at the bottom of the screen, there's a ticker with the email address and a link. You can send in suggestions, comments, pictures within reason. On tacticalfoss@gmail.com. And if you watch us in replay, anything we talk about, leave a comment. I always read the comments, and they're always appreciated. Let me do also show a couple things. I missed an email last week. Now I got to find the right. There we go. Ron Wayne had sent in a picture for Gorn, and both the literal, and this is a goat gun that he won on a giveaway a little ways back of an M1 Garand. And the Gorn was his. He got stickers and the Garand. But I wanted to make sure that I showed it because I missed the email. I saw it in it right after the chat ended. And Ozzy's asking what's in the box. I was just getting to that. Let me close this one. And
I think I did the same thing last night. He sent in some last minute Gorn, and when I got the show over with, I realized I forgot to show one on the screen. So, yeah, I feel really bad about that.
Ozzy Orsborn was very kind enough to send me a holster for my Kimber.
I knew you were getting it.
So yeah, I just got it today. So I'm able to get a picture of it. Haven't worn it yet, or haven't been out and about. But I just wanted to thank Ozzy. It's very nice of him to do that for me.
Yes,
and it fits. It fits well. It's not super snug, but I did do what you told me not to do. I put it in the holster, and then I put it upside down, and I shook it, and it retained it. So here, let me embiggen myself here. This is the holster itself live. And it's got the white in the concho, which I like. Goes well with the black, and then the faux ivory grips on the black 1911. But once again, thank you very much, Ozzy. I really do appreciate it. And let's take a look, see who else was out there. Mike White, 2A Advocacy, was out there earlier, way earlier. Ozzy, DJ Play Nice, Baron was out there, Kingpin, Bubba Triclops Ballistics, Artak, Hillbilly Up, Wesley Foster, 2 Live Moo, and Gitzer Gary. I think I got everybody. Wesley is asking, what states can somebody purchase ammo without permits and background checks? I think most of them.
Just about everybody around here.
I don't know who requires it. I know what California, I think it has. They have something like that. Probably New York. Not sure about New Jersey, but I think most states you do not need a permit or background checks.
Yeah, that's fairly rare, I believe.
I wonder what the Google box will say. We'll look it up real quick. But
no, they do require that I give them money when I go in and purchase ammo for some reason.
they proposed it here in Washington, but it didn't. Thankfully, didn't go for it. There's 6 states that require background checks.
Really?
New York, California, Connecticut, Illinois, Massachusetts, and New Jersey.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm not super surprised by that list. I'll say that. And let me see. What was the other thing? Permit? Well, it just gave me the exact same. Not sure about the permit for ammunition. I know there are states that require a permit for a firearm. But yeah, I don't know about the permit one, but because Google gave me the exact same result as when I put in for background check. So well, hang on here. Let me get my YouTube side up and going here. Give me just a moment. There we go. I like to have the YouTube studio open so I can see the chat there too. Just in case there's a problem, then I can take care of it over there.
That makes sense.
Uncle Jim's out there.
2 Live Moose said he sent in Gorn. By the way.
I'll look at it here. Let me get my email open. Oh. Let me do this. Do that there, close that there, and then let me go over and open that. Hang on, chair. We're getting there. We're getting there. There it is.
Ozzy's picking up a new gun on Thursday, a SIG P320 X10.
Ooh.
Wow.
So this is what Moose sent in.
44 Magnum.
Yeah. think he said it was a 329.
Looks painful.
Yeah, 329 Performance Center. Looks cool. It probably is very painful, but if you have to use it in self-defense, you're not going to notice once the adrenaline gets pumping.
This is true.
So I know my Airweight 357. It is kind of brutal. I'll usually, if I take it to the range, it's 5-shot. I'll do maybe 10 shots, maybe 15, and that's it. Moose said it's not that bad. It's full stainless.
That does help.
Oh, okay. I was thinking it was one of the Airweight ones.
Yeah, Airweight 44 Magnum. No, thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, Uncle Jim said it'll be a flamethrower.
For sure.
And Bubba's trying to get me to type something. I'm not going to type. I don't know. It seems like a trap. It's a trap. And Gary, let me show what Gary's showing something here to me.
There's my Aussie holster.
I was going to ask you, the conversion barrel that you got for that. Who makes it? Can you say who makes it?
I don't know who makes it. I got it from Midway USA, right off their site.
Oh, okay. There was somebody.
Same place I bought the magazines, because you have to have different magazines too. So.
Somebody was talking about that there were no conversion barrels for the 4006, and I knew that
it's technically not. It's for a different model, but it fits in the 4006. So.
Oh. What models is it for?
Well, let me go into Midway and look at my order history, and I'll tell you. If you think I'm going to remember that, that's a whole nother thing entirely. But it should have a record. Orders. Okay, that is a barrel for a 5903, 5906, or a 5943. It's a Smith & Wesson. It says Smith & Wesson barrel. I don't know if Smith & Wesson actually makes it or not. I don't think so. Well, factory replacement parts. Okay, yes, it is. It's Smith & Wesson barrel. Okay.
Oh, okay. I was just curious. Wesley Foster's asking, does anybody have any photographs of the cracks they say appear in the P320? I don't know. I haven't heard about it. So I'm not familiar with that problem.
There's a link in the private chat if you want to see that barrel later on.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
And Uncle Jim has the 1006. I'd love to have one of those. That's the 10 millimeter one.
Yeah, Snob has one.
What I'd really like also is a 4006, but the one for the I think it was the California State Parks. So the serial number, I can't remember if it's like SP or it has a different starting, like the CHP guns have CHP at the beginning. I think
Mm-hmm.
so the ones for the park has a designation for the parks, which I thought was kind of neat. But I think they're a lot rarer than the CHP guns.
Well, at one time there were a bunch of the CHP guns, but they got snapped up pretty quick. And everybody wanted them. I'm glad I got mine when I did because the prices went up substantially, and they're pretty hard to come by now.
Yeah, I paid a little more, I think, than you did. I bought mine last year. I think. God, I can't remember if it was last year or the year before, but I know it was after, probably a year after you did, and I paid a little bit more. And then someone on Never Enough Ammo's Discord I guess maybe I bought mine 2 years ago, because it was sometime last year. Someone on Never Enough Ammo's Discord, I paid for something. I think under 450. They paid at their gun shop. They paid 800 for a 4006.
Wow,
Yeah,
that's a lot.
and I debated on telling him how much I paid, because it's like, man, I think you got cheated. But maybe that's what the prices are now. I don't know. Uncle Jim said cracks where, so I don't. It doesn't sound like he's familiar with any cracks. Wesley said, "I'm an engineer. I want to see where the actual cracks are. That's why he's asking." Look at those. I gotta get a page back on. There we go. Yeah, I can't remember. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was there. Pretty sure it was the Parks Department for the 4006. When I went through and when I did a review video for it, and I was researching the history, kind of came across some of that. Yeah, that's what I thought. The U paid was about that much. So I knew I was paying a little bit more. Yeah, Ozzy's asking about the cracking too. So
Yeah,
I don't think anyone in here knows about cracking.
no, I saw some reports. I did a Google search, and I'm seeing some stuff from 2017, but that would have been about introduction time.
I don't know. They must have fixed whatever that problem was pretty quickly.
Little JB Weld, probably.
JB Weld is amazing stuff.
Yes, it is. I've used it for some very critical things, and including a sump pump that the shaft holding the float snapped into, and I was able to glue that back together with JB Weld, and it held for several years underwater and everything else. And I would have never believed it.
The last thing I remember using it on was when I had my Yamaha XS 850, and I converted it from a mechanical tack to an electronic tack. But the cable for the tack screwed into the front of the motor. So I couldn't find a cap that fit to block that off so it didn't leak oil out of there. So I just took the cap off of the cable and then used JB Weld to fill in the hole, and it worked. At least up until I sold it. So
It's not your problem anymore. Jeez.
yeah, that was I kind of missed that bike, but it was I've heard other bikes are worse. It was a little bit buzzy, so you'd feel it in your hands. It was amazing. If I rode that Yamaha and then drove my wife's car right afterwards, at the time she had a 2005 Honda Civic. That it made the Civic feel like a luxury car. If I drove that compared to my car, her car felt, like a cheap car, and made, especially when I had my Ford 500, that was really smooth driving. But it was funny how it was buzzy, and then I get in the Civic, and that made the Civic feel silky smooth in comparison. Wesley's saying, I keep hearing rumors about the frame cracking, but no one can tell me what frames is which model it's occurring on, or if it's on the 45 model or the models, what part they're calling a frame. Yeah, I haven't heard anything about it. So maybe it was an early on problem that they re-engineered to fix. Kind of like with the early Glocks that had a problem and were exploding.
The 40s did for sure.
Yeah.
I hope mine doesn't crack. Let's put it that way. Hasn't yet, anyway.
Yeah, I don't have a 3.
Of course, I owned a Bursa Thunder 380 at one time, and I had read that they were notorious for cracking.
That's what I had heard.
Those I've seen pictures of.
I will say I looked at a Bursa, the 380. When I wanted to get another 380, I was looking, and I looked at that, and I looked at the M&P. I ended up getting the M&P, but the Bursa felt really good in my hand. It fit my hand really well. But I wasn't sure about the reliability, so I went with the M&P.
It fit my hand okay. I wasn't a big fan of that heavy trigger. And that double action trigger was heavy.
Yeah, I was getting it mainly because I had I still have it, PK Walther PK 380, which mine is absolute garbage. The PK 380 seemed to be either it worked great or it was nothing but trouble, and mine was one of the nothing but trouble ones. So I wanted to get another 380 to replace it. So when I took new shooters to the range, I could start, would start them out with like 380. So I ended up going with the M&P.
I believe you might have another Gorn. There's one on the way if you don't have it. Let's put it that way.
Oh, yeah, I got it here. Moose showing off.
Mm-hmm. He's got a lot of stuff to show off, though.
He's got some nice stuff. Let me put that there. That there. Uncle Jim said the burst is super reliable. Sold hundreds. It's the Ook killer.
I don't know what that means.
Yeah, I'm not sure. Aussie, I have a Bursa 380, probably 500 rounds, no problems yet.
I will say I was a good shot with the Bursa. At the range, I shot it very well.
Uncle Jim was saying it's a PPK killer.
Oh, that makes sense.
Which I do. I do love my PPK. I carry it all the time. It is. First time I took it to the range, I was amazed at how accurate it is for me. I shot the same groups at 7 yards as I did at the indoor range I go to has kind of a short range. I can't remember what the max distance, but I shot pretty much the same groups at short distance and long distance. I was kind of amazed by it.
I'll say mine's an indoor range and it maxes out at 25.
That's the wrong folder here. Hang on here. Just trying to call up there we go. Pictures that Moose sent in. So I'll get that window, that one there, and his 3rd gen Smiths. And I love the look of the 3rd gen Smith.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
I know there's people that don't like it, but I don't know. It's that kind of late 80s, early 90s looks. I would love to get a Ruger, like a P89, P90, one of those. I really love the look of those guns. And he's got one of the older style channel stickers.
See, I do too somewhere. Maybe I'm not safe. Yeah, there's one on my set. I can see it from here.
Oh, he put a googly eye on it. Yeah, that was early on when I was learning how to use the my software. So the text isn't that good on the overnight part. So I was just learning how to do it. Very nice. Wesley Foster, I heard the Glock 40's early versions had one less pin holding them together under the barrel, and that caused the problem. So that is fixed by now, at least in Glock.
The story I heard was when they first rolled out the 40, they basically just retooled the 9mm frames. And they weren't beefed up enough to really be able to handle the increased pressure and everything of the 40. So they ended up going in and beefing them up a little bit.
That's what I heard. Something about that. Something about the chambers. And Uncle Jim, the Ruger P never broke as a range rental. They were tanks like the old Smiths. The single stack 39 was one of the best feeling guns too. Yeah, one that the Cabela's that I go to, the last few times that I've gone, they still had that Firestar, the M40. They had two, one in stainless and one blued, and I really want that stainless one, but
Did they want an arm and a leg for it? Let me guess.
the 450 for the stainless, 350 for the blued.
It's not all that bad.
But I'm afraid to touch it because I don't want to buy it, but I want it.
I understand.
And it's
Sometimes
love going
I get
in.
in a certain mood to go to the gun shop. It's like it's not a good idea because you're going to buy something if you go in.
Yeah, that's the way I ended up with my Ruger Super Blackhawk, the stainless 7.5-inch. I wanted kind of a big, kind of ridiculous gun, and they had, can't remember if they had two, but I saw it at Cabela's, used, and I looked at it and I thought, man, I was infatuated with it, but it's like, I don't know, I didn't have enough on me, so it's like, no. Went home, kept thinking about it, went back the next day and bought it.
See, anytime I've tried that, my luck usually always is it's gone the next day.
Yeah,
it happened.
I had that. That happened with Kalashnikov. I forget what the model is, but the shotgun. Gun shop had one for a really good price. Yeah, it was cool looking. That was the biggest reason I wanted to buy it, was I thought it was really cool. So I went back the next day and it was gone. Uncle Jim, no more parts for Stars, though. They ran out. I am aware of that, but it would just be cool to have. And it wouldn't get shot a lot. I don't, especially now. I used to go to the range. I try to go 3 or 4 times a month. But now I go not even once every 3 or 4 months. G23's out there. Good evening.
Evening.
There we go. Why don't we, let me put out there. Oh, what's a hashtag we should use for a giveaway?
Steel. Hashtag Steel. STEEL.
Steel. So we'll put a hashtag out there, and at some point we'll do a drawing for a giveaway. I hit 1,600 subscribers, so I was going to do a giveaway. Thank you. So we'll give away some stickers, and they're over there. A survival knife, and we'll give away a Casio watch. The watch and the survival knives were provided by X Adam 1. I don't think it was out there tonight. He sent me a few of the survival knives to give away, and a Casio watch. So here, let me. It's wrapped in plastic still. There we go. So a digital watch. We'll go ahead and give that away.
I had a Casio watch once, way back in the 80s.
I think I've got a Casio. The watch I used to wear at work. I'd buy just cheap Walmart watches, like $6 watches and stuff, but I kept breaking them. So my wife bought me a really nice. Is it Casio? I don't know. It might not be Casio. God, what? No, it's in the other room, so I don't want to go look at it.
I think 2 Live Moo might want to win because he said he just lost his watch. But Ozzy says he feels lucky. Gotta be a fight out there.
But my wife bought me a pretty nice watch to wear, and I was afraid of, because I kept breaking watches. I was afraid to wear it because she spent a little bit on it, but I wore it for probably 15 years at work and never had a problem with it. It was she bought me the stainless one, and I had that for probably not quite 10 years. Wore that, and then she bought me the titanium version, which was nice. It was super light.
Oh yeah.
Now I wear a smartwatch at work, just as the owner or my boss will text or email me, and so I can just look at my watch instead of having to, try and find my phone and take it out. How you doing, DJ?
I'm doing all right, but I was wishing that I had one of those Dick Tracy watches. What's going on, fellas?
It is nice to have. I don't wear it any other time than at work. But, it's since you can put whatever backgrounds on it, I've got my channel logo on it because I'm conceited.
Fancy.
Uncle Jim had one with a calculator on it, lots of buttons. I had one of those.
Yeah, me too.
And I had all my phone numbers on it, and it's somewhere in the bottom of Rife Lake because I was out camping and somebody wanted guys with us took it with him. They were going back to the boat launch. We were about halfway out camping on the bank. He took it and dropped it in the lake. So,
and they are not water resistant.
Well, it probably was for a little while, but I doubt it is now.
Mine wasn't.
When I was grade school, I had one of the kind of transformer ones, had the little robot on it that you could take off and transform into a little robot.
Cool.
It's amazing the like going through Instagram or the YouTube shorts and see stuff from the 80s and stuff that I've had that I've forgotten about, like the little robot watch.
One year for Christmas, my little brother got one of those watches that was a Pac-Man game, and it had a little controller on it and actual removable joysticks that like slotted into the watch band. And it too was lost on a camping trip. We went hiking. He had it to begin with, didn't have it afterwards. And oh my God, we spent like 2 hours backtracking looking for this stupid watch. Poor little guy.
Yeah, I think that was the same. I think the same trip I lost a knife. I had a knife that had like a dragon claw holding a pearl on the end. I lost that knife too because I didn't have the snap on it done, and I had it around my ankle. It fell out. Never found it. I was back in high school. Gunmetal Guy USA. I enjoy the heck out of the YouTube channels that archive VHS tapes and shows a lot of 80s commercials. Very nostalgic.
I found a YouTube channel a couple days ago. Don't ask me why I clicked on this, but it was the very first episode of The Price is Right. And like a new car was like $2,000 or something like that. It's in 72. It's like, wow.
Yeah, I was looking at used cars I don't know, a couple weeks ago, and kind of looking at car prices in general, and it seems just crazy where like Civics, Honda Civics, and Toyota. What's their Civic?
Corolla,
Corolla.
Camry.
Corolla. Those
Back in the day.
yeah, those can go for $20,000 more. Just seems insane to me. Uncle Jim had a Herman Munster doll with a pull string that talked. Yeah, that'd probably be worth quite a bit of money. It's all the stuff you had when you were a kid, all the cool stuff that you don't have anymore because, there's no way you would know that it would be worth money, in the future.
Like a vintage Stretch Armstrong or something like that.
Yeah. I have, I will admit that there is some stuff that I have rebought, just as kind of, member berries. So
I've done the same thing. Yeah. At least now that I have the budget, a little bit bigger budget than I did when I was 10, for instance.
Yeah, I grew up, kind of more on the poor side. So when I became an adult and had a job and could afford to, went back and kind of bought stuff that I couldn't have when I was a kid.
What was the last thing like that you picked up?
The last thing? Ooh. God, I'm not sure. I haven't bought anything in a while. I will still look at stuff, but I don't know if you would say because like I got into collecting sports memorabilia, Mariners, Seattle Mariners stuff, and the last Mariners thing I bought, I think, was the base. I bought a second base because it was half off, so I pretty much had to buy it.
How do you even come across something like that?
Well, every game they pull second base so they can sell them.
Oh, I had no idea.
Yeah, so there's lots of them out there, but they're usually at the time they would go for $200 or more, and I got it for like $100. So. I've got a small lunchbox collection. One of them is the one that I actually had when I was a kid, and then the rest are just cool ones that I wish I could have had when I was a kid, like the Buck Rogers and Battle of the Planets. Probably the favorite one that I bought for the lunchboxes is what is it? It's like the Wonderful World of Metrics. Back when there's the big push to try and get us to convert to metric.
Oh yeah.
I bought it because I thought it was funny.
I never carried a lunchbox, but on the nostalgia tip, I did get. They were both pretty beat up examples because I wasn't trying to buy some super collectible one, but a Star Wars lunchbox and the Dukes of Hazzard lunchbox because I lusted
Ooh.
after both of those really heavily.
Yeah, mine aren't, they're not the prime examples, so they're not in mint condition. But it's more, a lot of the stuff that I bought are just kind of like memory placeholders. So I've got the room they're in is called the Mariners room because that's because of all the Mariners memorabilia and stuff. But it's basically stuff I look at that makes me happy. So when I go up there and sit in there, there's a TV, and I've got Google Chrome on that. So, I would watch YouTube and stuff, watch old wrestling shows or I used to, when I was on chats and stuff, I'd do it from that room. But I just go up, look at my stuff and feel happy. And then if something didn't give me, when I looked at it, it didn't make me happy, then it would, I'd give it away to somebody to make them happy. Uncle Jim, Evel Knievel pull bike toys worth $1 now. There is an Instagram channel that I follow. It is, I think it's called The Real Evel Knievel. And all he does is he has one of those pull toy bikes and he jumps stuff. So he'll line up stuff and jump it. So
Well, and there is good news for those of us who lost track of ours when we were kids. Let's see, I don't know if I have my camera set the right way. I'm gonna have to do a quick check of my settings here and flip it over from the last show that I was on. So you don't need to be seeing my ugly mug necessarily, but they've reissued them. The Evel Knievel pull toys. So they're there. You can get them. I left this one in the box, right? But that little brother that I mentioned earlier in the program, he was responsible for finding out that you could shove an Evel Knievel down a vent in the house. So I don't know which cold air return it ended up in, but he did it.
I never had one, but one of my friends when I was in grade school had one. That would, we'd jump stuff.
Oh, it was a blast. I remember the Christmas that I got it. I couldn't believe it.
Gunmetal guy. I had steel Tonka dump truck from childhood until late high school. He got purged when I moved out. That's a shame. Those the steel Tonkas, those were cool. I had a neighbor that was mildly retarded. He was a cool kid. We hung out and played, but like if we played Superman or the Hulk, he hit me with his Tonka truck. Being the Hulk, he raised it up over his head and then smashed me in the head.
Ouch.
But as he grew up, he kind of socialized. I guess that's the way to put it. Socialized a little better, and kind of. I don't think I didn't really hang out with him in high school, but seeing him around and stuff, other than he had a little hearing problem, so he had hearing aid. As he got older, then he learned better. Yeah, Uncle Jim, I wish I had my Mattel Retro M16 now. Those are cool. Uncle Jim, the 007 briefcase gun kit was the shit with the booby trap. Had one in the early 60s. Mandatory carry. It's out there. It's going to hit the rack, though. Let me go over to the giveaway tool here. Steel. So there's 9 people entered, and there's 13 or 14 people out there. So if you want to win a survival knife and a Casio watch and some stickers, hashtag Steel, STEL. I guess I could have put that up as a banner here. Let me fix this. STEL. Save that. There we go. Hashtag Steel. That's the hashtag for the giveaway. And we'll do that here in just a few minutes.
He's got a point.
How you doing, G-Webs? If you said anything, couldn't hear you. I saw you unmuted, but there's no volume.
Oh, is that better?
Yeah, there you go.
New microphone. Anyway, I slept longer than I thought I was, I guess. So, thanks for hosting longer than an hour because I think I missed it by about 50 minutes or so.
Oh, yeah, no problem. Yeah, I didn't even realize that we're almost an hour in already. This one flew by.
Time's fun when you're having flies. Yeah.
Yeah. I know. I was thinking about doing a bracket. Should we do a bracket tonight?
Tonight was made for a bracket.
What's the website you use for brackets?
Let me get it.
So, well, hopefully everybody entered that wants to enter.
Got another one on the side there.
Oh, okay, thank you. I couldn't
Who
remember
says
what it
if
was.
you do a bracket, then send me a link?
Yeah, I'll send you here just a second. Let me do the drawing, and then I'll send you a link.
Is it legal to have cows and chickens in the same chat?
I think they can get along.
Yeah. Moo and I
They had a
know
cartoon.
each other. Considering we were texting back and forth earlier, I think we can get along.
So let's go ahead and do the drawing.
This is for a steel sword.
Ozzy. Now it seems like payola. Ozzy Osbourne. So I will send you out some stuff this coming up week.
Seems fair.
And let me get the link from Moo here. There it is. I almost kicked myself out of the chat.
Yeah. Highly recommended that you don't.
Yeah. There. Oop, no, that's the wrong one.
Mike McLean says, or Uncle Jim says, love the real Aussie. Well, this Aussie's real too. I've actually met this Aussie.
There we go. All right, I sent you a link, Moo. All right, let me close that. And let me get this open. Damn, and let me bring it down, chair. There we go. So here.
What bracket do you have in mind?
This bracket. County fair brackets. And how was the volume on that? I went in and I turned it down.
No, it was loud. It was. I would have to turn the volume up to hear it. I think.
I can't. I don't know. It's either everybody
With the explosions, it seemed quiet. You know what I mean? Like you see an explosion, you expect it to be loud, kind of thing.
I can. I'll go back through, and next time I'll adjust it to make it louder again. But everybody complains that my clips are too loud. I can't tell. When I make them, they don't seem loud to me, and then when I play them on the chat, for some reason, they're louder. I don't know. So let me share the screen. There we go. So we'll start filling in categories, and everybody out in the chat can throw out categories that we might want to add. So definitely food is going to go on there. And rides.
Oh, it's all the stuff at a county fair?
Yeah.
So then the animal competitions or whatever?
Games. Animals.
How about the crowd?
Crowd. Is pickpocketing.
Well, they don't in my county, but maybe they do.
Oh.
What about shows? There's usually a show, like concert performances or variety shows kind of thing going on, talent shows.
Most of them around here have like a demolition derby or something like that too.
I put rodeo, a concert.
Rodeos are good, yeah. Back in the day, in the 70s, tractor pulls were all the thing. And every county fair had a tractor pull.
Well, I was going to say races. Ours has a racetrack right next to it, but I don't know if that's really the county fair. It just happens to be next to it.
Oh.
So you said rides like getting in a thing and like a little roller coaster or whatever they set up.
Yeah.
You like that?
Yeah.
See, we haven't had a carnival here in like 5 years because they're all booked. There aren't enough carnivals to go around anymore because a lot of them went out of business.
So. Is drinks a thing? Different than food?
I'd put that part of food.
What else is there?
So far we've got food, rides, games, animals, crowd, rodeo, concert. What's another one?
I don't know what else happens at a county fair.
Yeah, Mike McLean brought up demolition derbies too, and tractor pulling.
Well, like exhibits, like if it's a county fair, they're usually like agricultural exhibits kind of thing, like in contests, like who's got the best blueberry jam or whatever.
Oh yeah,
that's one I meant to put in was exhibits.
Oh, you forgot parades.
We don't have a parade for it.
You don't have parade? We always had a parade for the county.
No.
I've
seen movies where they have parades though when the fair comes to town and they do the parade through center of town, like from the railroad track or something.
Yeah, like the circus and stuff.
Oh yeah, I would think of the circus maybe. So is arcades the same as games? There's like
I think.
ring toss, and there's like stuff.
Yeah,
and then there's arcades because there's usually like an arcade or something. How about a petting zoo?
Well, we've got 8 categories. Should we expand the categories? Go more than
Fireworks. Pie eating
County
contest.
fairs, yeah. It's in late July.
Like baking competitions. You already got like blueberry competition or something. You said.
So I guess we go from 8 to 16. Is there 16 things we can put in here?
I don't know.
It was a slow pull to get to those originals there.
Yeah, I wasn't sure if there would be more than about 8.
So I gotta be honest with you, I haven't been to a county fair in years.
We try to go pretty much every year. We have the state fair, which Woods is screaming. At least if he sees this, he'll start screaming because it forever was the Puyallup Fair. And then I'm not sure who designated them the state fair. They were the largest fair in the state. And it's now called the Washington State Fair. Let me make this a little bigger here so everybody can. There we go. So do we want to change any of these categories or?
Hay rides or anything like that, or corn mazes? Does that count as rides?
I would put that different, not as the rides like the Ferris wheel or the merry-go-round. We'll have to come up if we add a couple,
we have to add a bunch.
Yeah. So I always forget about that we can do a poll. So 8 or 16. For bracket.
Well, I was looking at the calendar of events for the Kansas State Fair. They actually have a butter sculpture contest. Wow.
Yeah, they have one of those in Iowa too. It's ridiculous. And there's not a limitation, or at least in the years where I went, there wasn't a limitation on how large they could be. So you have people starting out with like hundreds of pounds of butter all mashed together, trying to make recreate Mount Rushmore or something.
Do you guys have they'll have all the as seen on TV stuff, or there's lots of booze. One of the buildings will have the cookware demonstrations or guys selling artwork or stuff like that.
Occasionally.
Most have. Mm-hmm.
And sometimes some of the local kids that are trying to raise money for something will have a booth or something like that.
That's what I was going to say, a craft fair, or not a swap meet, but like a farmer's market type of thing. Sometimes they do that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's the one in Puyallup. It'll be kind of a mix of the as seen on TV stuff and then like a craft fair.
Some of them have a baby contest. Ours has
your
a
baby
Sweet
cows,
16.
Put them in a row.
Baby humans.
Baby humans?
Yeah.
Do you judge them on weight or?
No,
Sorry, baby.
Prettiest baby and stuff.
Cutest baby contest, yeah.
Give a bunch of babies a complex when they're little babies.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the dingo ate your baby.
There's a moo in the. There's a moo.
I hear a moo.
Everywhere a moo moo. How
Hey,
you
what's
doing,
going
moo?
on?
Oh,
I'm-
we're
I'm
always
doing
supposed to
okay.
wear a muumuu?
Well,
they're
clothing is
very-
optional.
Say they'd require putting
Very
on clothing.
comfortable. And it airs you out really good. No need for any gold bond.
See, I just saw Uncle Jim out there say the freak shows, and they don't really have those that often anymore. At least I've not seen one in decades. But when I was a kid, I was able to see one, and like that was some of the strangest stuff as a little boy. Like the chicken, like they had, I don't know, they just had like these like mutated animal things that they would show like in jars, like specimens and whatever. But one of the guys that was part of this freak show sideshow thing, his performance name was Popeye, and he had the ability to literally push his eyeball outside of its socket, and he could do that with each eye, and he could do them independent of each other. So at one point, I'm standing at the bottom of the stage, looking up at this guy who's dangling eyeballs out of the sockets, and he would bounce them back and forth like ping pong balls. It was like the most. It was disgusting, fascinating, thrilling. It was everything at once. All I could have ever wanted.
Yeah, those are the geeks.
There we go.
That's where the term geek comes from.
Isn't that the sideshow?
It was.
Oh, so let me take a look at our poll, and I'll end our poll. So it looks like 8. 60% said 8. 40% said 16. So we'll go with 8. Let me. All right. Where'd I put? There we go. How do you randomize it?
Up top, one of them buttons, shuffle in the middle.
Shuffle teams. All right. So shuffle. All right. Let's see how many. We've got 6. So the chat will be tiebreaker, or is there 5? We got 5. Oh, the share screen. I was counting as one of us. One of us. Google gobble.
Google gobble. Yep. Speaking of freaks,
That is a creepy movie. If you've ever seen it,
What movie?
Freaks. It's 40s.
or 30s, yeah.
Yeah. It's about sideshow freaks.
If we're talking about movies, I like Something Wicked This Way Comes as a
Yeah, I
fair
loved that
movie.
when I was young.
It was one of those ones on HBO that they didn't play all the dang time, if I remember right. Like they played it, but not. Or maybe I'm just misremembering, because it wouldn't make sense for them to not play it constantly. They did that with everything.
The first time I saw it was actually in school. One of the days we weren't learning. We watched that in school.
I don't know how they do that. That's like a real movie on VHS or something, I guess. Back in the day.
Yeah. Rolled in the cart with the VCR and the TV on it.
I think we had VCRs, but I don't think I ever seen a movie at school. And if I did, it was something really boring.
So like
all right,
reefer madness.
The history of cheesecake or venereal disease. Yeah.
Ooh, not together in the double feature, Gary. Damn.
So first battle is crowd versus games. Would you rather go there for the crowd or go there for the games?
I go there in spite of the crowd.
When we go, we'll go like right when it opens, so the crowd's not that bad.
Or like on a Wednesday afternoon or something where it's not like Saturday night.
Well, usually it'll be like Sunday morning. Gary?
Yeah, I'll go for games.
Games. How about you, DJ?
Crowd, please.
You work in the crowd?
Mm-hmm.
Moo.
Oh, definitely the games.
G-Webs.
Yeah, games.
So does it bother you that they're all rigged?
As long
I
as
guess
you
it
know
depends.
they're
I remember
rigged.
I liked playing them because you had that potential to win something, but I don't remember when I figured out that they were rigged. I guess maybe when I was a teenager or something, you figure it out. The movies help you figure out that it's possible, essentially.
I will still. Well, I don't really play the games anymore. When my oldest was younger, since we got there early and there weren't a lot of people, I would go and play the head-to-head games like the Shoot the Water and the Clown Head, where you're playing against other contestants rather than playing against the carny.
Right. Yeah.
That way, you're guaranteed a win. Because it would, since we were there so early, it would just be us two playing. So that way, he walks away with a win no matter what.
Yeah, that would.
Yeah, you mentioned my favorite midway game, the squirt guns with the blowing up the balloons. That's the best.
Yeah, you put that. I forgot to show the poll from the community tab. But yeah,
I've been to places that have BB gun type shooting galleries. Well, back in the olden days, now they're water or whatever, but or sometimes light. But shooting galleries are. I don't know if they have them at fairs. Maybe those are just at amusement parks. I'm thinking.
I didn't see it this year, but I didn't look for it. Last time we were there, they still had the shoot the star out with the BB gun.
That was what I was just thinking about. That was a blast, but I never won.
I never
No.
tried it.
Yeah, they'd make the barrels probably all spirally or something so that you have no chance.
Yeah,
Or you're supposed to have like 100 shots and they put in like 50 BBs, and as fast as they go, who's going to count?
one of the problems watching YouTube videos about the carnival games and stuff is as you shoot out more of the paper, there's less support. So the paper moves rather than tearing.
Right, it just flaps back and forth instead of being pushed.
Ozzy said he liked the dart and balloon game. Yeah, for that one, they would have dull darts and underinflated balloons, which made it harder.
Mm-hmm. I did the one where you had the 4 steel like discs, and you had to cover up the red circle, and you had to put them down exactly right and cover up the red circle.
Yeah,
and there was a trick to it. I learned the trick, and I kept winning all the King Kong stuffed animals, and then they didn't let me play anymore.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, the old dime toss game. When I was a kid, my sister got really good at that, and they would boot her out because she'd win everything. It's still, it is still fun, and you're paying for enjoyment, even though they're rigged. My son, we went to the fair 2 weeks ago, something like that, and he wants some stuff. He did really good. He did the basketball, which they're like 12-foot oval hoops. But he won that one and won some other stuff. So he had fun.
My buddy used to win the where you throw the baseball, like 2 or 3 times, and you had to guess your last speed on the radar gun to win a baseball helmet. And he would win that quite a bit. But it was weird because like the first one, he just hurl it. It'd be like 65. Next one, he'd like not even hurl it and be like 75. So it was always rigged. But he would win quite often. He had a lot of helmets. I got one from him.
I think the last one I won was probably back in high school, because I didn't really play them after that. But the big milk jug with the little hole on top, and you got to get the ball in it. My friends are playing it, and then they're kind of goaded me into. So I just went, flip the ball, went in. And I won a big M&M, and I ended up giving it away to some kid because I got tired of carrying it around.
Yeah, half the time those are fake. They're full of like stuffing instead of chocolate.
We stopped for lunch, and there's a dad with his daughter. I'm like, hey, you want this? I'm tired of carrying it. He's like, really? I said, yeah, here, you can have it. So games is going to move on. Is there a way to transfer these, or do you there we go.
Push that arrow button.
I got it. So games moves on. Now we've got rodeo versus food. Gary?
Food.
The last time we went, it was not good. We did not pick a good booth to get food from. They were smash burgers, and it was really kind of goofy. They had a few different spots at the carnival, but you ordered from one place, the grill was right next to it, so you go over to the grill to get the burger and then come back to get the curly fries. And the curly fries was this cube of curly fries. It's like, half a foot by half a foot cube of curly fries that are basically seasoned onto all the salts on top, and they weren't very good. Burgers were a little bit bland, and it was for 2 burgers, a foot-long hot dog, and 2 curly fry cubes. It's like $60. Yeah. It was really disappointing.
You could have went somewhere and got steaks cheaper.
No doubt. They're going to charge you like by the gram for cotton candy or something. Jesus.
Did you have to pay a tip? Gee.
Well, I think there was a soda in there too. But DJ, how about you? Rodeo or food?
The food, please.
Moo?
Corn dogs and candy apples.
Don't forget funnel cakes. Around here, that's the main thing. If fair's in town, the funnel cakes are in town.
Elephant ears too,
I've never had an elephant ear or a funnel cake.
Oh, man.
Yeah, me either. I never knew about them until the internet.
Well, the elephant ears, they have always been there. And I always, would see people walking around with them, and I just never bought one. I'll get the scones, the Fisher scones, and the cow chip cookies. I think they're probably about 4 inches across, and then they've got a bigger version, but really good, kind of rich cookie. And then the scones, I love the scones, so we'll get a baker's dozen when we leave. Bubba's saying beaver tails. I'm not familiar with the beaver tails outside of the tail on a beaver.
Well,
depends on what kind of beaver you're talking about.
That's a different kind of circus, Bubba.
Yep. They had tails too. Yes, they did.
Biting my
It'll
tongue.
drain your bank account.
That's right.
G-Webs, food or rodeo?
I'm a big fan of the deep fried calf roping.
So which category would that fit in?
I'm not sure.
That's one for each, isn't it?
Put powdered sugar all over them barrel racers, and I don't know. I'm not a rodeo guy, but we have a separate rodeo out here, so I'm going with food, I guess.
Food. Oh, okay. So food will move on. So animals. So the animal exhibits versus non-animal exhibits.
Well, it's like your biggest pumpkin and like that kind of thing, right? For exhibits or like
Yeah.
blueberry
Yeah.
pies or something.
For
Mhm.
us, they'll have like
Pickles.
the produce displays or this. There was an art show this year for exhibits.
Quilts.
Yeah, stuff like that. And then the animals, you know, they have the barns you go through, and then the 4-H and FFA, you know, horses and sheeps and stuff like that. So, Gary, which would you rather look at?
I'm gonna go with animals. I always love going through the 4-H barns and stuff like that.
I do too. It was amazing that I realized the stuff you hated to look at as a kid is the stuff I want to look at now. All the exhibits and the animals and stuff. And when I was a kid, I just wanted to play games and ride the rides.
It's probably the way it was back then too. So all the old people were back there. It's probably
DJ?
an age thing.
Well, I'm pretty sure.
Because it's shady back there usually.
I think the animals are great, but I'm going to go with the other exhibits.
Oh. Moo?
I gotta go with the animals. oh, for sure. But no, I always had my buddies, you know, gals and guys, you know, showing off their animals at the fair. So I'm going animals.
How about you, G-Webs?
Just FYI, you can type a number into where it's like orange right now to keep track or whatever. But yeah, animals also. I like going looking at like the dog shows or the whatever. Like petting zoo is included in there.
I like both. If I had to choose between them, I would, I guess, lean towards the animals. This year I like the art exhibit, but I guess animals will move on. And for the last two, concert versus rides. DJ?
I'm going straight up concert. Couldn't have been any doubt.
Yeah. I don't really ride the rides anymore, and I've never been to a concert at a fair. Gary, how about you?
Concert.
Really? So there's two.
I get motion sick really easy. I've been that way since I was a kid. I couldn't do things that would spin around and stuff. So I don't enjoy too many rides.
Yeah, I can't really do the spinny stuff anymore. After I had the bout of vertigo, kind of messed up my inner
Makes
ear.
me sick to my stomach. I can't do it.
Moo?
I enjoy the concerts, but give me the rides, man. The salt and pepper shakers, the zipper, the tilt-a-whirl, all that stuff, man. Sign me up.
How about you, G-Webs?
We had Santana come out here forever as part of the fair, I think. So it was like a long time tradition. So a lot of people went out there for the concert because then whoever wanted to play with Santana would show up. And then I'm not allergic to many of the foods, but I am allergic to getting on things that some drunk guy only put half the bolts into when he set it up on a Thursday real quick.
Dude,
So
that's what makes it fun. I did the.
If you're little, I don't care about the rides, but I'm not little. I don't want to be like the that guy should have never been on that ride. That's the problem here. because
I did the slingshot ride. I was going to say I did the slingshot ride. I did the slingshot ride.
Yeah. Go ahead,
where quality control is at a minimum, So that was fun. Anyway, go ahead.
Have you seen the videos from the slingshot rides of people that pass out?
Oh yeah, all the time. And then the ones where the bungees break, that's even more awesome.
Ride?
It looks like a slingshot. There's two seats together, and
where they just shoot you in the air and it goes back. It's like a bungee up into the air.
Yeah. But there's videos where
I want to die, and I want somebody else to do it. So sure, shoot me into the air.
Who wants to die with me today?
You'll see videos where people will hyperventilate and pass out, and then they'll wake up, realize they're still in the air, scream, and then pass out.
Yeah, it's out again.
Yeah. Oh yeah, you pass out, and then the first thing you know is that you're flying through the air. Adorable.
It was a freaking riot, man. It was great.
Ozzy said concert, and Bubba said, "I'm a large mammal friend. I can't ride rides." I was a little surprised. I expected rides to move on, not concerts.
There was a couple of rides I liked, but like if it's a ride that they set up in a parking lot, it can only be so big. So like a roller coaster or something, it's going to be scary as shit more than it's going to be fun, like a Disneyland or something. So they got to be pretty. Like there was, I think, something where it would just be like up and down. It wasn't really so much a roller coaster as it was just like pushed around. Was that the tilt thing? But it would, I don't know. I'm trying to remember anymore if there was rides that I was looking forward to.
The one ride I did like was a Ferris wheel. Ferris wheel wouldn't get me sick. Plus, you could see the whole town from the top of the Ferris wheel, and that was
that part was neat. But it was scary as crap when it would kind of wobble in the wind and stuff.
They'd stop to let somebody off, and you'd be clear up the top, just kind of rocking back and forth.
Have you guys been on the big ones, like the 90-meter tall ones?
They got one in Vegas now, but I've never been on it, where it doesn't even move. Like it doesn't stop. You get on it while it's still moving because it takes an hour to go around, and once you're on it, you're in there for an hour because there's no way to get out of it.
I did one of the big ones in Tokyo. There's a big one in Seattle. I haven't been on that one.
Oh, I don't know if the one in Vegas is as big as the one in Europe. Is that in England?
The London Eye. Yeah, I've been on that one.
Yeah, that's like when you're in like a hotel room, right?
Yeah, it's a big car.
Oh, okay.
You're in
so games versus food. Moo, how about you first?
Ooh, dang. I think I'm gonna go games.
Games. So one for games. DJ.
I'm with Moo. Step away from the food. I had enough.
Gary?
Oh, I'll have the food.
G-Webs.
You put me down for
I think
games.
I'll do games because
go ahead. G-Webs.
I'm gonna do games because we would just eat on the way home because we were too cheap to pay for the food at the places. I didn't like look forward to the fried stuff necessarily. So if we were just gonna eat, we would eat somewhere else.
I'm gonna say food because that's, like I said, those two things, the cookie and the scones. Those are the two things that I look forward to. The games are fun to try once in a while, and I actually bought some of the ring toss rings so I could practice at home, which I actually never did practice at home.
Did you have to lay on your back in the bed and let your wife throw those rings?
Whoa. Late night ring toss.
Oh, snap.
Oh.
Okay. Apologize.
Sergeant Joe Smith and Bubba both said food. And Ozzy said, I would have said rides, but the line for the bearded lady was so long. So games moves on. Now we've got animals versus concerts. G-Webs.
I'll go with the Critters.
So one for aminals. DJ.
Concert, please. My first one was Nebraska State Fair, my second concert ever. I got to see Anne Murray and Larry Gatlin and the Gatlin brothers at the Nebraska State Fair.
I'm a huge Anne Murray fan. I would have loved to see Anne Murray.
Right on.
Moo.
Now, I'm going off my experience in my little county fair. Our concerts sucked. So I'm going to go with the Critters.
So 2-1 animals are winning. Gary.
It'd be really cool if the animals could put on a concert, but that's not the way it works. Let's go concert so I can tie it up.
Oh.
There is a house in New Orleans.
2-2. I'm gonna have to. I've never, like I said, I've never seen a concert at the fair. So animals. Gonna go animals.
What if the animals were in concert?
Well, I would still be going to see the animals.
Animals.
True enough. Touche.
Eric Burden and all, yeah.
Maroon 5, Animals.
I would not go see Maroon 5.
No.
No, it keeps coming up on my Pandora, and I keep down thumbing it, and I'm like, come on, man.
Thumb down. Thumb down.
I'd rather go see Taylor Swift.
Wesley Foster and Sergeant Joe Smith both said concert. And Sergeant Joe Smith said he saw Starship, Patty Loveless, Mark Wills on free stages at the Iowa State Fair.
Mm-hmm.
Now that would be sweet. Jeez, we just had like local hillbillies like playing like the Brown Jug Band or something.
I don't. They had kind of big name. I couldn't tell you who they were, but I get emails from the fair. I bought one of the bricks. So over by there's a wood roller coaster, and you could have a brick inscribed. So I bought one of those a few years ago.
A wood roller coaster made of bricks?
No. There's a brick pathway.
Oh, okay.
So there's one there with our family name, except the daughter because she was just born. So I need to get another brick so we can add her. But and then has Go Cougs on it.
Now, to be fair, I haven't been to the fair since like the 80s. So I'm judging all my answers from the 80s.
Yeah, our fair sucks. Nobody goes to.
Well, Iowa State Fair was referred to out there in the text chat. Can't remember who already, but they have outstanding concert stages like every year. There's national headliners that will show up there. Minnesota is a really quality state fair when it comes to both the food and the performers too. Can attest.
Let me see.
I wonder if they have fried fish at the Minnesota one.
They fried everything, man. Ridiculous. If you put it on a stick, which is pretty much everything, right? It's there. Same with Iowa.
On a
Well, I mean, I think of like making pit pies or some kind of corn or something, like, you know, people making the whatever food. But if the local food is everybody's fishing up there, like, you know, having a bunch of, I don't know what people are from, he said Minnesota, like, what are they from? I don't know, some country at North Europe or whatever, you know, where they're used to frying everything. But, you know, just the idea of having a bunch of ladies who've been frying fish, or whoever, a bunch of people frying fish their whole lives, competing on frying fish or something, that's got to be, if that's the case, then that would be an interesting take on a competition where, you know, everybody wins if you're having everybody's best fried fish type of thing. I just don't know if I've ever, I know I'd never been to Minnesota State Fair. I'm just wondering if that's the kind of food competitions they have, is what I'm wondering.
Never checked out food competitions. Was restricted myself mostly to what was available out there on the Midway kind of thing. But I did look it up, and Gary, I heard you with your on a stick thing in the background. Jeff Dunham was at the Iowa State Fair this year.
Oh wow!
Yeah, so were the new kids on the block. So I don't know. Yeah, probably, or at least on a stool.
Jose Jalapeno on a stick.
On a stick.
So I think this is this year. Trying to see, it doesn't. I looked up from the fair website, and it didn't. I know it didn't show all the concerts. I think this is this year. They've got Chicago. Kehlani, I don't know who that is. Kane Brown, The Temptations, Dylan Scott, Tyler Hubbard, Zach Brown Band, Kids Bops, Jeff Foxworthy, Pentatonics, Casting Crowns, Third Eye Blind, Styx, Young Gravy, Babyface, Dan and Shay.
Well, you guys did all right.
And Styx was, I believe, with Ann Wilson.
I just looked. Our state fair is next weekend.
Ours just ends. This is the last day of the Kansas State Fair.
How long does it run? Ours runs for a month now.
Ours is like 2.5 weeks, I think, something like that.
We used to run 2 weeks, and we only run about a week now, end of August.
This one says September 22nd to October 29th. Is that right? Like a month?
Wow.
Jeebus.
That's what ours used to be, like 2 weeks, and now it's a month long. And then there's a spring fair, which is like a week, maybe 2 weeks.
No, Foss, is it on the same grounds every year?
Yeah, it's the Puyallup Fairgrounds.
Okay, because I know some states will have dedicated state fair grounds, and some counties do, but Douglas County does here as well. But other ones will like rotate around different places in the state. G-Webs, do you know, is it the same location every year for you guys?
Oh yeah, definitely. It's in Phoenix. We don't have that kind of space to have, you know, roaming thing. And that's where all the gun shows are, the biggest gun shows there. There's a hockey rink there.
Oh, DJ. You missed out, man.
What did I miss out on?
This last Thursday at the Kansas State Fair, they had hairball.
Oh,
Ooh.
man. Rub it in, Gary.
So
You
this
would've
is
loved
who's the concerts. There's 6 concerts at Arizona, I think, is all. And it goes Walter Hayes, Becky G, Neo, Brothers Osborne, Violent Femmes, and Carly Pierce. I've only ever heard of the Violent Femmes before.
I've heard
Yeah,
Neo.
Carly Pierce was at Kansas, too. Yeah.
Don't know the
Carly
music.
Pierce, that girl.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know who that is. I'm assuming a Western singer.
I have no idea. Need to Breathe, Carly Pierce, Rob Schneider.
Oh, wow.
Cooper Allen, Matthew West with Ann Wilson, and then Hairball.
Yeah, the headliner at the Nebraska State Fair this year, because I gave you the Iowa part of the Iowa lineup before, was the Oak Ridge Boys. Welcome to Nebraska.
Bapa.
No doubt. Bow, bow.
Is that legal to even have oak trees in Nebraska?
Bubba's Too Bad Animals and Food didn't end up in the end bracket. Could have called it a draw technically, since they're the same thing in some instances.
Most of those animals are going to end up as food.
So we've got games versus animals. Gary, you going games or going animals?
Oh, I'm going animals.
So one for aminals. DJ.
I'm gonna go games.
Mo.
I'm going animals.
So
And
two for animals.
Animal.
I don't want to bring down the chat, but we just lost our puppy last Sunday, so
Oh.
she was a good animal.
How old was she?
10.
Oh.
Yeah. Pit bull, American bulldog.
Say goodnight, Gracie.
That was
Yeah, it's
crazy.
tough.
Mhm.
Sorry to hear that, Mo. G-Whips. Games or animals?
Also, animals, dog shows, and the horse stuff, and looking at critters, way more fun. Plus, it's always like the best of the critters, right? It's like everybody's best
Yeah.
critter.
Yeah, usually.
And when they're a long time, then like they'll have like the police dog thing where they'll do like while the police get together from a region or whatever and do their competition in front of everybody. Like that's always fun to watch the police dogs doing their thing.
So I'm going to go animals. So animals has won the county fair bracket.
Plus, that's why state fairs existed in the first place, right? Was everybody to compete with their cows or whatever?
Yeah, it's showing all the
Yeah,
harvest.
pretty
and stuff.
much.
Agricultural fairs. Mhm.
We didn't go last year, but the year before that, they had the dogs that, go running down the ramp or the plankway and then jump in the water. Who can
Heck yeah,
jump the
that's super
farthest?
fun to watch live. Yeah.
It was funny. You could tell who the normal competitors are versus the people that just showed up with their dogs.
Yeah.
Because you get some that, they're going 3/4 of the way down the tank, and then other ones that kind of go to the end and then boop.
So this is so weird. They have like a video of a bunch of scenes from the state fair on the website as I'm looking at it here for Arizona. And in Arizona, it's up in Phoenix, and it's just right in the middle of town at this point. I'm sure at one point it was way outside of town, and then Phoenix just grows horizontally. It doesn't grow up really. So the town, swarm was like surrounded it and then enveloped it, and now it's just sort of downtown. It's in the middle of downtown. So every time you see pictures from like a drone or whatever, the fair is all lit up, but it's just in the middle of like a bunch of buildings. It's kind of right next to downtown also. So it just looks so weird because most of the time I think of state fairs as being the opposite, like way on the edge of town or out in the rural area or something.
Oh, and unrelated. I just found out the Sarlacc pit. Those scenes were shot in like Yuma, Arizona.
Really?
Yeah. I thought it was all done
out there.
I thought it was all in Tunisia, all the Star Wars stuff, but just happened to watch something. They were talking about the Sarlacc pit that was in Arizona.
I'm looking to see if it's somewhere you can go or if it's like on the Yuma testing grounds or whatever where they shoot the military stuff and you can't get there.
It said here's according to KLAQ, you can visit it.
And it says the Sarlacc pit was filmed in just one of the sand dunes, I guess.
Buttercup Valley.
Yeah.
Oh, it looks like
The thing is,
near
it's just really some hills and a hole that they probably green screened or something anyway, and just had it all CGI. But it's not like, I'm guessing it's not like, where is it, Tunisia or whatever, where they left the buildings, just walked away from them, so you could technically go there and look at some of the stuff. Like, in Yuma, there's no way they just still exist or anything, you know.
Yeah. It looks like it's near the border, so it's probably full of migrant workers.
And it looks like it's in California. Oh, yeah, it says Winter Haven, California. So it's in Yuma, but Yuma is on the border with Arizona and California, and it's on the, or at least where it says Buttercup Dunes are on Google Maps, as it's on the, I've driven past there a bunch of times, though, like a lot of times. Well, twice, but I've driven right past there. I had no idea. Dang it, I would have totally stopped too. But knowing that it's in a bunch of dunes doesn't really tell you where it was, I guess.
Alrighty. Oop. Man. There we go. So let me do this. Right check. GearWebsites.com for all your 2A related stickers, patches, posters, books, web design, web consulting, technology consulting, 3D printing. You name it, he can probably do it. GearWebsites.com.
Van repair?
In personal messages, like for your alarm when you get up in the morning.
What are those called?
Hi, this is you. Get your ass out of bed and get to work.
Wake up call. Yeah.
Hey, wait a second. This could be a thing.
Could be.
Did you guys ever go out outside Las Vegas to the, what do they call it, the domes, where Star Trek was filmed?
Wait, what?
Some episode of Star Trek was filmed outside Las Vegas in an area called the Domes. There's like these half moon shaped rock structures out there that they filmed during some of their episodes. Went out there, rode our Harleys out there one time. It's pretty cool.
That wasn't what I thought you were asking when you were asking if anybody had been to that thing outside of Vegas. I thought you were talking Bunny Ranch, bro.
Oh, that's. I think that's southeast, isn't it?
I don't know.
Oh, that's my brother. He'll tell you.
Oh, no.
They
I've
just
only-
built,
although
they
he
just
spent-
built that giant.
I've only been to Reno.
They just built a
Kill man
giant
just-
dome in Vegas, so everything you search for dome in Vegas is showing up this giant dome they just built.
The big ball.
Yeah,
Yes, we've
actually pretty
driven by
neat.
that many times on the way to SHOT Show because it's
Have
just
seen-
right there.
Have you seen the videos of the thing lit up yet, Gizzard?
Yeah, I saw it the
Pretty
other
neat.
day. It was lit up like an eyeball. It was creepy looking, man.
Yeah, it's pretty
I-
neat what they're gonna be able to do.
It seems like there'd be a ton of car wrecks around that thing.
Oh yeah, It seems like the Terror Dome. Like it was literally the Terror Dome that they're just building casually next to the fake where SHOT Show's at. Like it's there's SHOT Show building, the parking lot. There's a parking garage for the employees, and then the Terror Dome is on the other side of that. Like you could walk over there as long as it took me to say this. You could walk over to the Terror Dome from SHOT Show. It's like literally across the street and across the parking garage.
Yeah, we'll get to see it up close and personal here in a few months.
And it was all being built. We got to see the insides of it, but now it's like a giant circular or domed or what is it, globe shaped video screen.
Yeah, it's huge.
I'm looking at one where they project on the ball a reflection of the rest of Vegas. That's pretty trippy.
Well, that's pretty cool.
So it looks like a giant mirror, in other words.
So I show a video so everybody, in case somebody doesn't know what we're talking about.
But I can't find it. I typed in where to find the domes in Vegas that Star Trek was filmed at, and it's not. It keeps showing me the stupid nude that thing. Yeah, that would be cool. Unless you're on the other side, then it looks like nothing.
And how big is that thing? Is it as big as say like
dude.
Epcot?
No, fuck no. It's way fucking bigger. Look at that's Vegas behind it. It's as big as a hotel.
Goddamn. All right.
That Ferris wheel is as tall as all the hotels, and it's as tall as the Ferris wheel. The thing is, it's a globe. So inside of it, there's a building where they're going to do sports. But that building, I don't know how big it can possibly be because it's inside of a giant, I don't know what to call it, like scaffolding type of structure. Because all those LED screens are just sitting on, scaffolding essentially outside the building. But anyway, yeah, that's crazy. It's a little bit deceiving, I think, because there's buildings. These are artist conceptions where they remove some of the buildings that exist. There's a giant parking garage next to it.
2 men enter, 1 man leaves.
Boy, that's super weird. And I imagine it's just on all the time. But you can see the parking garage. That's a giant white thing next to it, I guess. It's just so much bigger than the parking garage. I wasn't even seeing it.
Well, Vegas really doesn't have a downtime. I mean, there's people doing stuff.
And it's not on the strip is the thing. It's like just kind of over next to a business center.
Yeah.
That is crazy cool. Oh, imagine being on that tram going around it. Oh, that's got to be neat. Because see how that tram, that monorail thing is?
Yeah.
Holy moly, that's got to be pretty neat.
I don't know. It's almost too much.
It is. It's crazy. Can you imagine just trying to walk next to it? It's like, oh, I'm just standing next to the moon. No big deal.
That was the thing came up with Albert Speer, the Nazi architect, that they were building venues so large they were afraid people would go insane because of the immenseness of it.
I've been in pretty big buildings, but I haven't gone insane because of the building size yet.
I don't know.
That is neat when it's mirroring the fireworks.
I wonder if it'll be like it's so big when you're there, you only get to see a little piece of it.
Well, that's the thing. If you're not in the air, you're not seeing anything. You're seeing a bunch of red and white smear, on the ground.
Because that was.
But you can get away from it and see it though. Because wherever I was in that hotel, we would come out, and every once in a while, when we were there was still like 3/4 built, and they would be showing like, the what do they call that color test that they would show on a TV back in the day? That different colors. They would just have that projected on it. Kind of. It was just a bunch of primary colors essentially. So we didn't know what they were going to do with it. I had no idea they were going to be that. Like it's a TV. It's crazy interesting.
Mitchell Carricake said he worked on the LED in Los Angeles, worked with LED Los Angeles, and delivered some of the equipment for that.
Very cool.
Yeah, I
don't know who came up with that, but that is very cool.
When I went to Mall of America, I was really disappointed that you don't get a sense of the scale when you're inside of it.
Yeah, were you saying somebody was saying it's like an L or something, and it just seems like kind of big,
Yeah.
but you never really see the whole thing.
There's the way it's, I went in and I wanted it just to be a huge building, when you're inside of it, but there's so many walls and, the way it's shaped that you don't get a sense of the size. I did ride the roller coaster. That was one of the things I wanted to do. So I can say I rode the roller coaster there.
So they've got a zip line, I think, through Frontier Street or whatever that's called in Vegas, where they've got the LED roof over the street between casinos or something. And I think there's a zip line people can take down that. So if there was like a giant mall and they would let you get on one end of it and zip line like through the air, through the whole mall, through the middle or something, that might be the kind of experience to let you see just how big that thing is.
Fremont Street experience.
Yeah.
Moo.
Yeah, it's the silica domes. We rode our bikes through the Valley of Fire, and you could see the domes. It's cool. If you just type in, what I said there, Valley of Fire. It was really cool, man. We were chasing roadrunners down the road on our Harley. It was kind of cool. And there was no
Acme rocket bikes.
Yeah. There's no rockets, no big rocks, and stuff falling on our heads and stuff. It was a really cool ride. It was nice.
Well, it's like at the 2:00. It's up north and a little bit east of Vegas. I've never been in that direction before.
Oh yeah.
Oh no, wait, I have once, but only from Utah. I've never been, prowling around up there.
Yeah, we took off out of Vegas, riding the bikes, went up through the Valley of Fire, came back down, went through over Hoover Dam, did a tour, and then we cruised the Strip in Vegas, which was hotter. I don't know if you guys have ever ridden a Harley, but hotter than shit on your leg, and stop and go traffic for like 2 hours, but it was fun.
Mm-hmm.
That is awful. Stop and go traffic on a bike. Oh God.
Oh yeah. Yeah, even worse with an air-cooled bike like the freaking Harley.
Air-cooled. Mm-hmm.
I always had liquid-cooled bikes.
Moo, is there anything you would like to plug?
Not anything other than what everybody else is going to plug.
So is there ever going to be a day where you impart some of that knowledge in your big noggin on video?
What knowledge is it that you seek?
What you do have quite a, especially like with the hunting, you're very knowledgeable, and that somebody could learn something from it.
Well,
and you are quite humorous. So
peer pressure.
Yeah, well, perhaps maybe in the future. Don't hold me to it. But thanks for
he just
me
softened a little bit.
Just turn
I'm a big softie, man. I'm very soft, right in the middle.
Oh, they got pills for that. DJ, would you like to plug anything?
Yeah, man. Well, let's see. Hillbilly and Bubba have both been out in the text chat tonight. Hillbilly just reached the Hillbilly Up channel, that is. Reached up over 1,000 subscribers and had a good time over there on his live chat this evening. Check him out on a Saturday evening. Also on Saturday evenings, a little bit before Hillbilly decides to clock in, Brooke Cheney does a show on her A Great Start Shooting School channel about mental health awareness and violence prevention. Check that out on Tuesday nights. Guns and Barbecue hopefully he will be riding again this Tuesday. Come and check him out. Sub him up if you don't have it. And until I see everybody again, be safe, have fun, carry your guns, and rock. I'm out.
Gary?
Well, if you're in the Kansas area, there's a thing going on. It's Friday, Saturday, and Sunday in Wichita, Kansas. It's called TriggerCon. You might consider dropping by. Watch out on the YouTubes. I'm sure there might be some content coming from there. There's a number of us going to be there. So looking forward to seeing some of the gang and hopefully getting some content out and stuff like that. So no foul territory this week. We'll do it next week. So anyway, that's all I got. Thanks for having me.
And G-Webs, is there anything you want to plug? Anything you got coming up?
The stuff I do, but I'll promote individual freedom and liberty. Thanks for hosting.
Thanks for coming on. So thank you to everybody that was out there in the chat, chatting her up, participating, and those who might have been watching but didn't say anything. I appreciate you too. Don't be afraid to speak up. And if you watch this in replay, once again, leave a comment. Whatever we talk about. What's your favorite fair food? I always appreciate the comments. I always read them. Oh, there's a link for the Gilded server, overnight Gilded server in the description. Place to hang out, share memes, pictures within reason. You can always get a hold of me there, or most of the people that come on the chat can get a hold of them too. So next weekend should be an overnight. There's a slight chance we might not do a chat next weekend. I don't know. We'll have to see.
Because you're going to TriggerCon?
Cool.
No. But Ozzy, if you're still listening, I'll get your stuff mailed out next week. And I think that's everything. Hopefully that was everything. And let me turn that off real quick. Other than that, hope everybody has a good rest of the night and go do something good.